And we live. And basically today we're going to be talking about the best or some of the best prompt engineering tips that you can use to maximize ChatGPT. I'm going to be talking about 10 and hope you find this valuable. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first one is introduction, right? This is basically setting the context. And it's very important, especially when you're trying to get the most out of ChatGPT, because everybody varies. Everyone is individually seeking for individual answers, and most of the time, broad answers may not help you. And it's the same with ChatGPT. If you don't specify exactly your context, it's going to be difficult to provide the best answer for your question, or in this case, prompt. So let's get right to the first one. So this is typically what most of the prompts look like. I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. Could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. This is a basic prompt and it lacks context, even though it did have a little bit of context here because it says I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. It doesn't really give ChatGPT the opportunity to really drill down and provide the best answers that you are looking for. So how do we change this, right? We include context. So I did a video about prompt engineering in detail. The link should be somewhere above. You could check it out. But how I always go about it is in threes, which is the first is introduction, the second is engagement, which is the context, and the last is the CTA, which is the exact thing that you need ChatGPT. This includes the introduction already, which is I'm interested in improving my physical fitness, and this includes the call to action already, which is could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. But over here is where the engagement lies, and this is where the context should be. So the full one would be I'm particularly interested in low impact exercises since I have knee problems. What are some suitable exercises for someone with my condition? Based on these exercises, then could you create a weekly plan? So here is the context. I don't have knee problems, by the way, but I'm just giving an example because now it knows that okay, knee problem is part of the issues this person is individually facing. What are some suitable exercises for someone in that condition, right? Then based on these exercises that it has provided, could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? And I'm aiming for 30 minutes. Now it has the right context to be able to provide the right exercises for someone in that condition. Without that, it would not, and it would have just provided a broad exercise scheme, which could be harmful because ChatGPT didn't know that the person had knee problems. Okay, so that's how you do a proper one. So now the next one is, we could try it out. Okay, here's the result. As you can see, it provided the suitable exercises, which includes walking, swimming, cycling, elliptical trainer, rowing machine, strength training, yoga, and pilates, right? And now based on these exercises here, the weekly exercise plan for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. So it says Monday swimming and water aerobics, start with gentle warm-up, proceed with 20 minutes water aerobics, and a cool down with 5 minutes of stretching exercises in the water. Tuesday cycling, same thing. Wednesday yoga, pilates, the same. Thursday. So very detailed answer, because we've been able to provide the introduction, as you can see, the context, and the call to action. Right now, moving on to the second prompt tip, this includes splitting your task. So it still has to do with this. I'm going to still use the same prompt as an example, but I'm going to provide a different version that may not provide the best results. So you want to make sure you avoid this kind of prompt. So here it is, still the same. Like I said, I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. Could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. Can you explain now the difference here? Can you explain the benefits of this regular exercise? So that's the first call to action. It comes before the the call to action, which there's nothing really wrong with it, right? But the problem now lies in after the context. It says based on these exercises, could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? Right? Then it says the type of clothes to wear. Then it says the types of food to avoid. Then he also asks for the best time to sleep. Then before asking for, I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. So the issue with this, apart from the sequencing problem, which isn't really a major problem, but the main issue is that it has multiple requests within a single prompt. right? And the issue is that you may not be able to get the best quality response to each of them, as opposed to asking individually, like, can you explain the benefits of regular exercise? Can you, give me the exercises to do like we did in the previous prompt? Then can you give me the type of clothes to wear? Then asking for the type of food to avoid. I know most of the time you will try to rush to get the answers, and that's valid. However, if you want to get the most answer, or the most I said the most high. If you want to get the highest quality answers, it would be best if you ask it singularly. Then you could follow up and ask for each of the questions as opposed to putting everything in the prompt. Let's see it in real time. So here is the answer it provided based on that prompt. And I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be really honest with you. It did provide decent answers, some high quality. However, we missed out on certain quality answers in some of the, in some of the questions that we asked. So for the first one, benefits of regular exercises, it did a good job. It could do better, but it did a proper job. For low impact exercises, he also did a good job by listing the things to do. For the weekly exercise plan, he did a good job too, because he did provide this, which was similar to the answers that we got in the first one, as you can see over here, although not that exhaustive, right? As you can see how exhaustive these ones were, but it did kind of provide a little bit item to go about it, but reduces the quality of it, which is what I was speaking about. Now, this is where the damage started. Clothing and gear, he just gave a pretty, 2 sentences answer, which could have gone in depth if you could just asked it for clothing and gear, right? For diet consideration, the same thing. He just gave a basic answer, which you could have gone deeper by providing. I'm going to show you one of the examples of how we could have answered one of these if that was just the call to action. Sleep schedule, do the same thing, trying to end just the basic, advice instead of a more in-depth advice and approach to going about it. So now let's edit it a bit and try, because we've seen the answer for this one, but let's try another. So as you can see, this is the edited prompt. It's still the same. I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. Could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. So I'm going to remove this, right? Because I just want to have one call to action. So I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. I'm particularly interested in low impact exercises since I have knee problems. What are some suitable exercises for someone with my condition? And based on these exercises, could you tell me the type of foods to avoid? So I just want to know the type of food to avoid, instead of, mixing it up with a couple different questions, and let's see what it's going to do. So here are the answers it did. I did forget to remove the kind of exercises. So you can see what are some suitable exercise for someone with my condition. I did forget to remove it, but it doesn't really matter. You could see the difference in the quality of the answer of foods to avoid for knee problems as it broke it down, and also spoke about the kind of food to actually eat, as opposed to the earlier one that we did, and it just gave a simple paragraph, as you can see over here, as opposed to a detailed answer. So that's just the difference. If you want speed, you reduce the quality. If you want the quality, you want to make sure you're asking it one at a time, and you can easily follow up on the same chat to answer each question individually, as opposed to grouping everything in a single chat. So the next one is creating roles and personas. So there are multiple ways to go about this, but the first is the basic simple one, just giving the prompt, act as a social media manager and give me a comprehensive social media strategy to drive awareness, engagement, and consideration. So here's a very simple basic prompt. If you want to allow the chat to, act as whatever it is, if it's act as a social media manager, act as, conversion rate optimizer, act as a website designer, act as a gym instructor, whatever it is, it's going to provide for you the way the actual social media manager would give you answers. And here it is, as you can see: define your objectives, identify your target audience, select your platforms, content creation. And if you continue the conversation, it's going to act as a social media manager. So that's one basic way of going about it. Another way is through custom instructions. So we're going to move over here, go over to custom instructions, and you can see it here, custom instructions. So here is one, which is let me click this. So if you click on this and you turn it on, it's going to allow you, not just in this chat, but in future chats, to act as whatever it is that you put in these boxes. So the first one is, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So I could say I am now trying to grow my Twitter account by having exceptional content. My niche is in the AI, productivity, and online business. So that's what you're giving ChatGPT. You could put anything here, right? There's no really right or wrong. It's just to allow ChatGPT to know more about you or your company or your brand. So you put it here. There's a simple one you could follow. And how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So this is the important one, right? The important one. And yeah, I just put content creation, generate engaging and original tweets that align with current trend specific themes or topics provided, suggest creative hashtags to increase visibility, offer ideas for thread sequences, engagement strategies. So I kind of laid it down. If you want to go more in depth on custom instructions, the link is above where I go in depth on how to go about it and how to easily create these answers to these boxes, right? But like I said, the main idea of custom instructions, just like the prompts that we did earlier, is to allow the chat to automatically have the context from where you are coming from, so that you don't necessarily always have to ask it, actors, this, actors, this, actors, this. And if you do this, and it's going to be easy for you to ask a question. So if I save this, and I create a new chat and I ask it, what is my niche, for example? It's going to answer your niche focuses on AI productivity and online business. It wouldn't have been able to answer this question if I had already put this in the custom instruction box that we can find over here. Go to custom instructions and you can see it, right? So that hopefully that helps you understand exactly how to go about this. So the other way is also through GPTs, right? And GPTs are over here, as you can see. GPTs are more advanced in a way. It helps you have specific profiles or mini GPTs that focuses on that particular task, right? So that Twitter custom instructions, I could create a GPT and say Twitter expert, for example. And anytime I click on this, right, or you could check the GPT store to see what other people have created. Anytime I'm chatting with that particular bot, it's main goal is to focus on that particular stuff. So with GPTs, don't worry, I created a video specifically for that. So you could check it up. The link is above. Go watch that video. It's going to go in depth about it. But those are the 3 ways to go about that. Setting personas from just basic prompting to custom instructions and to GPTs. So now the next one is templatizing. Yeah, now the next one is making sure you create templates for your prompts. And this is very important, especially if you're trying to have utilize ChatGPT a lot and you're going to be asking similar questions, right? It's easier if you have an organized template for your prompt. So what I mean by that is, for example, over here where I say act as a social media manager and give me a comprehensive social media strategy to drive awareness, engagement, and consideration, we could easily just, if we templatize it, did I just say templatize? If we create a template for it, we could easily say act as a, whatever it is, right? And give me a, whatever is in the box to drive, so I could say act as a gym instructor and give me a 6-week strategy plan to drive. So I could say act as a gym instructor, for example, and give me a 6-week plan strategy to lose 100 kg. For example, you understand what I'm saying? Because I've created a template for it. Okay, I'm going to show you another one. So here is give me 5 unique, effective, and efficient ways to counter the sales objection. I'll think about it. So I could say give me number, unique, effective, and efficient ways to whatever it is. So give me X unique ways, unique, effective, and efficient ways to lose weight, to beat some, to learn something, whatever it is, right? There is the template and you can easily use it, to be able to ask questions more effectively. So make sure you try to start templating your prompts. I said templates. So another one is a step-by-step, a step-by-step is what I call this. And this basically is asking ChatGPT to give you step-by-step answers. It's simple, but very effective. And I don't believe it's humanly utilized properly, right? So here's an example of what I'm talking about, right? Give me a step-by-step on how to tie a tie, right? You could ask, how do I tie a tie? And it's going to give you a good answer. But if you say, give me a step-by-step on how to tie a tie, it's going to break it down step by step, which makes it easier to understand and makes it a better answer, which makes it a better prompt, right? So as simple as it is, it's not really utilized. So I added it to this list. Just adding a step-by-step on any prompt sequencing that you have will make the answers way easier, and it's going to break it down into, right? You could even go further to say, give me a step-by-step on how to tie a tie as if I'm a 5-year-old, right? And you could also add that as if I was a 5-year-old to any other prompt that you want to have, and it's going to break it down to simple bits for you. So here is the answers. You can see broken down. Every single thing is there. So another one is specifying your outputs. And this particular one, it's a really nice one because again, it's all about helping you get the most out of ChatGPT and understanding it the best you possibly can. So this answer is good, step by step. It did give me that. But now I want to change the output. I didn't give it a particular output, which is why the default is like, straight number writing. But then I could just say, give me in a table format. I want to specify the exact outputs that I want. It could be in any format, but I'm asking for a table format. And here it is. You can see the difference from this long thing to a simple, clean table format. And it shows step 1, this, step 2, this, step 3. It's easy to understand, and I can see clearly every single thing that I want. All right. This is a very underrated prompt or tip. And I would recommend you start trying it out. Again, it doesn't have to be table format. It could be in any format. But the idea is for you to be able to make the most out of it and understand and get the best answers for you. So another one is using prompt recalls, right? And again, I kind of spoke about this earlier on when we're talking about analysis to get the most out of the data, right? So this is a little bit different, but it's still the same concept in terms of making sure you are squeezing every single thing from the answers. So I could just easily say, again, I'm going to continue with this same prompt or this same, prompt. I'm going to say, I think you must have missed some important things, right? So here is how to activate the prompt recall. I think you might have missed some important things, right? What it's going to do is it's going to squeeze and check, and it might be like, oh, you might be right. And it's going to make sure it provides you other answers which has high quality, but it didn't include in the answers or the output that it gave you. Make sense? So you could see what it did here. It not only gave additional this, it created an entire column for things that it could have missed. So this is the first one, right? Steps and action. Then this is the step detail. Then tips. Adjust the length based on your height and size strength. You get 12 inches. Ensure the cross is snug across the neck for a tight near knot. This step begins to form the shape of the knot. So this did a good one, right? It did provide certain things similar to this, but it kind of makes sure you went the extra mile to provide every single thing and making sure it didn't miss any. And if you just want to play with it, you can say you still missed more stuff, and it keeps bringing, it keeps squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. I find this useful, especially when brainstorming or doing other things, to make sure I get all relevant answers and not just some. Now, the next one is utilizing prompt sequences. I've spoken briefly about this when we're talking about prompts, but I'm going to go in more in depth. I've done a video on this. You could check the link out. But let me just go a little bit about it. Like I said earlier, introduction, engagement, call to action. So introduction, I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. This is it, right? This is not necessary. This can you explain? But if you do want to have it there, sometimes I leave it there just to get more. But I'm interested in improving my physical fitness. Here's your introduction. I'm particularly interested in low impact exercises since I have knee problems. What are some suitable exercises for someone in my condition? There is your engagement. Then your call to action based on these exercises. Could you create a weekly exercise plan for me? I'm aiming for 30-minute sessions 5 days a week. So if you utilize this sequencing in any of the prompts that you have. Here's another example, right? I'm interested in learning a language or a new language, right? Here's the engagement. I have a busy schedule and can only dedicate about an hour to language learning. I'm particularly interested in learning Spanish for an upcoming trip. That is your engagement. Then your conclusion or your call to action is, what specific strategies could you recommend for me considering these strategies and my time constraints? Could you create a week or 4-week language hearing plan for Spanish tailored to an hour a day? Introduction, engagement, and call to action, right? Those are the sequences. Once you have this, there are other sequences, but this basic prompt sequence can make sure you are definitely getting the most out of the prompts that you are looking to get out of. So another step is just to use basic natural languages, okay? Yes, you have to follow basic prompts. However, basic natural languages also help, because naturally, when you're talking, you are actually following the prompt sequences, right? So, and another thing is you don't always have to get the spelling correctly or use the right words, right? ChatGPT can understand. The main idea of all this prompt engineering sequencing is just to make sure it's providing you the best answer that you need or that you're looking for. Right? It doesn't mean you have to be professional. It doesn't mean you have to use certain languages. So what I'm going to show you is a very simple exercise, right? I could say, what are the best ways to fry an egg? Right? Here, there is a simple call to action if you're following the sequencing, right? I purposely missed the spelling of what, I purposely missed the spelling of best, I purposely missed the spelling of T, and you will see that ChatGPT will still understand what it is that I'm asking. So with that simple, intentional, misspelled prompt, it was able to understand it and provide answers to what I'm looking for. So like I said, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you're passing the message across. And the last but not the least is combining all elements. So to become an advanced prompt engineer, or just basically to get the most out of your prompt, or to be able to ask the right questions or the questions better, you just want to make sure you are utilizing all these sequences that we've spoken about, or all these things that we've spoken about, from making sure you're setting your context right, to making sure if you want to create roles or personas, to making sure you have this in template so it's easy for you to copy and paste, to specifying your output, to using prompt recalls, to most importantly utilizing prompt sequencing and using natural language, right? The prompt sequencing: introduction, engagement, call to action. Introduction, what exactly it is you want. You want to fire an egg, good, that's the introduction, right? The engagement, which is the context version, is you may be preparing the dinner of the egg for 5 people, and you only have 10 eggs. You're preparing it for 5 people, you only have 10 eggs. Then the call to action is that what are the best ways to fry this egg in an hour, in less than an hour, but making sure everyone feels satisfied. That's the introduction, but I'm breaking it down into my personal scenario and then ending it with the steps that I need ChatGPT to actually give me. It's going to give you a whole lot more better answers. So without further ado, you can watch this video again to kind of get the gist and the nuances. But without further ado, just applying just 1 or 2 of this will definitely make you a better prompt engineer. I hope you found this valuable. Let me know some of the other tips that you may have in getting the best prompts or best output from your prompts. And please do make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.